Hey everybody, welcome to Outliers. I'm Molly Hawkins, and today my guest is Kohl Crecelius, co-founder of Krochet Kids International, known for beautiful handmade beanies and garments. They're not just a clothing company, however. As described on their website, through a unique model, we are empowering the women of northern Uganda and Peru with the assets, skills, and knowledge to lift themselves and their families out of poverty. So they're providing jobs, education, mentorship, for women in Uganda and Peru. It's a pretty incredible model that you're starting to hear more and more about out there. But these guys were early to the game. I'm excited to have Kohl on. Hi, Kohl. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well, Molly. Thanks for having me.
Fantastic. How's the beard doing?
Depends on who you ask. I am liking it, but every day my wife likes it less and less.
So is it a challenge, or the winter, is that your winter thing?
You know, it always starts. I went home for Christmas one year without a beard, and I have two older brothers, and I didn't get the memo one year. And so I was total outcast in the family. So I never spent a Christmas season without one. And then this one has just stuck with me. It kind of is literally and figuratively growing on me.
Oh, it's fantastic. I like it. It was funny. When I saw you down at the Agenda Trade Show, I had to do a double take. I barely recognized you.
Yeah, I've been getting that more and more, which is like, it's kind of two-sided. It's like, it's my disguise, which can be discreet, but then I feel like people don't always know that it's me when I approach them.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
How was the show for you, or how was Agenda?
Yeah, Agenda was great. We've been going to the Long Beach Agenda show for 3 or 4 years now. Always a good mix of people. Now that we live down here in Southern California, just a lot of good friends, good people, good accounts rolling through there. It's always a good time.
Did you see any trends or anything that you were really excited about around the show?
You know, I didn't do too much trend hunting. I did more friend hunting.
Oh, fun.
And I saw a lot of good people, which is like what keeps bringing me back to shows is just getting to connect with really good people and catching up with them.
Awesome. That's why I love you. For some reason, I expected you to say something like that. So. Okay, so we didn't come here to talk about your beard. You guys have a pretty crazy story. You and the guys were just a couple of dudes who skied and snowboarded, and you learned how to crochet. Was it from your brother?
It was, yeah. We grew up in Spokane, Washington, and my older brother learned when he was at college, of all places in San Diego. Came home and taught myself, and I taught my two best friends, and we had a business. We were the Crochet Kids, and we were slanging beanies to anyone who would purchase one from us. We were making custom ones at that point. We thought we were like the next brilliant entrepreneurs.
Oh, so you guys you had that bug early on.
We did, yeah. What was funny is people ask, like, yes, we crocheted, and it was definitely fun. Like, we loved the act of creating things, of designing, putting colors together, creating new styles. Like, it was rad that we could do that with our own two hands. But the other side of it that was really interesting was that whole brand side. Like, we really had an affinity for it right from the very beginning. We weren't just making hats. We were creating a brand, and we'd buy these little canvas labels and we'd sew them on the hats and write these back-to-back Ks on them with Sharpie pens. And we like started to build this little empire, even as juniors and seniors in high school.
Man, that's awesome. I wish I would have had that vision or that drive or some kind of skill like that when I was in high school. I feel like I just studied and, did the thing and did sports or whatever, but yeah, I didn't have any skills like that. So now you're not just a beanie company. You support, these women halfway across the world. Can you talk about how it, evolved into that?
Yeah, absolutely. The crocheting piece was a big piece and remains a big piece of our story to this day. But how it all tied into the organization as it is today is that we, while in college, had different opportunities to travel, and one of those trips took us to Uganda, and it was really interesting for us. We went volunteering, trying to help in whatever capacity we could. But what we found as we started to ask more and more people in that country specifically how we could help, we realized that the response wasn't that they wanted more things or more money from us. They wanted jobs, they wanted opportunities. And so for us, we didn't know much, but we knew how to design and make headwear. And so we saw the opportunity in giving somebody a job that they would be able to provide for themselves, that they wouldn't need, the help from other aid organizations, and they could start to be their own people and to live into who they were made to be. And so that's where, our two worlds kind of collided, this desire to like help impact people in the world, and this skill and this affinity for having a brand and creating something cool really came and collided together.
That's amazing. So would you say that for all of you guys was entrepreneurism? Do you think that was in your blood? Because it seems like you guys always have something new, and whether within Crochet Kids, but all the different things that you guys are up to. Do you think that's something that people are born with or they're not?
That's a good question. And to answer that, I never really considered myself an entrepreneur, especially even as we were starting Crochet Kids. But as I started to look back through the history, it was like before it was beanies, it was a snow shoveling company that I started with my friends. And before that, when I was in elementary school, I would have my mom buy packs of Airhead candy at Costco. And I remember getting in trouble because I was selling these Airhead candies out of my backpack to kids at school. And so I think for whatever reason, it was something that was really inherent within me. But I think what only added to that was these friendships that were forged together. Travis, who's one of our co-founders, he and I have been friends since preschool. And then Stuart, who makes up the third co-founder of us three, we were friends in high school. We were always scheming, we were always trying to figure out something fun or crazy to do. And it was both from this entrepreneurial spirit, as well as just this desire to create and to help other people enjoy life in different ways. I don't know how to explain it, but the three of us really fed off each other, and those ideas just grew and grew.
Well, it started with scheming, and now you guys are doing it. Your growth has been really incredible. What would you attribute that growth, pathway to? You've done a lot of collaborations that I feel like had to have been huge, huge opportunities for you guys to get known by new customers and markets.
Yeah, absolutely. There's been some great, there's been some great collaborations. Did one with Vans the past 2 years. Vans shoes created really, really special products that were great. Vans that incorporated artwork and knitwear from both of our project locations. We've been able to work with great retail partners, started out working with Nordstrom and worked with Zoomies and Whole Foods, and just a lot of good people all across the board. But I really think this may be me speaking from belief or my naivety or whatever, but I really believe that all of those things have happened due to the authenticity behind our brand and our vision and our mission, why we exist. It's really evident to people, and for a lot of reasons, one of which is that we're structured as a nonprofit organization. So it's really evident that we exist to really help other people. And that's something that I feel like a lot of people, both big and small, the person on Facebook or the one-time purchaser online of one of our products, to those bigger companies and brands, they crave that authenticity and that real connection and that desire to help outside of personal gain. And they need to make a buck at the end of the day, and so do we, but we get to do it in a way that has a greater purpose. And that's the response that we've always got, which has definitely helped attribute to our growth.
So the big question, I'm sure you guys have been faced with opportunities that have been really hard to turn down, or points where you're like, man, should we do this? How have you guys stayed true to the brand and stayed authentic. And any advice you can give to other brands out there?
Yeah, I think as meaning, I don't know, like a lot of people talk, even especially as we were developing our brand and our concept. We were in school when we were starting. So there's all this talk, even from like an educational perspective, like, hey, what's your mission statement? What do you stand for? Like, who are you? And for better, for worse, we took that in and we really adopted it. And from the very beginning, we set out like our values, who we were, what we wanted to be about, why we existed. And we created a structure in those things, in our mission and our vision and our value statements, that remain to this day. And I think, as cheesy as it maybe feels, or even as I tell other younger brands to like do that, it's so important, because like they become, you make it though so it's loose enough so that you can grow into it. You don't pigeonhole yourself in specifics, but like you create a vision and you stick to it. And I think the best brands that are around like knew who they were from an early stage and didn't compromise who they were for other opportunities and things that came across their path. So I would say just start out on the right foot and know who you are and what you want to be. Obviously there's room to grow within that, but like at least set up some guidelines and a framework for what you want to be about.
Any brands out there that you've really looked to as a North Star?
There's some that we really respect for sure, for different reasons. A couple that I'll mention is Patagonia, and Yvon Chouinard and some of the books he's written have been pretty cool for us to read and base some ideas off of, one of which is like they're a brand that wanted to be around for 100 years, like they were doing that from all standpoints of their company. And we want to do the same. We want to be a brand that lasts and that's relevant decades down the line. Another one that's been a good inspiration and for a couple different reasons is Obey. We love the guys over there, love who they are, and like this mentality of like small, agile staff that like really cares about what they do and sharing a message that matters. Like, I don't know, those are a couple that come to mind that we've always aspired to and looked up to.
Awesome. Again, you guys, you're listening to Outliers. I'm Molly Hawkins, and I have Kohl Crecelius, co-founder of Crochet Kids International, here with me, and we're talking about building a business model for change in action sports and really beyond. So when you guys were really young when you started this, and along the way, I wonder how you continued to learn and engage the folks around you so that you could really grow this business in the way that you wanted to. I mean, clearly you've been reading amazing books. I Let My People Go Surfing. I see a lot of the stuff that Yvon Chouinard talked about in that book. You guys living and breathing a lot of those things as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's one thing. I think overall, it's like the mentality for us. We set out and wanted, out of necessity at first, like out of 100% necessity, we were a learning organization. Like we had to learn everything. We had to learn what wholesale and retail meant and how to design well and the process and the calendars that you need to go on. So out of necessity at first, but then it's something we've just built into who we are, is this culture of learning and of continuing to improve and realizing that things could always be better. So reading's great. I think another thing is just meeting as many people and asking as many questions as possible. Whenever we come up a problem, even to this day, we reach out and see if there's anyone around us in our industry or even outside our industry to help us think about those things. It doesn't mean that you take everything that everyone says completely literally, like you have to take it with a grain of salt, but asking questions, opening yourself up for critique and criticism, I think is really valuable.
That's awesome. That's great advice. So have you grown with a lot of the same people that you've had since the start, or have you started to put some really seasoned, experienced bigwigs in the hot seat? I mean, how do you do that as you grow? If people, are they hitting, what happens when someone hits a ceiling,
Yeah, no, we've really been fortunate to grow with a lot of really our founding crew. And there's some tension there, you know, like there's, when it comes down to like, you know, having a gap, an expertise or a knowledge gap, but sometimes it's like, man, it'd be great just to have somebody here who knows everything about this. But we, from the day one, like we've seen the capability in who we are and how we can learn and grow. We've been able to pepper in our staff with some great people who do have more experience in certain fields, design being one of them. We have a great designer on staff who has really helped take our product to the next level. But for the most part, like it's been about building in more of that culture of learning versus like hiring somebody to like figure out or solve your problems for you. I think there's danger in that.
For sure. It's been cool to see you guys grow, and I definitely see a lot of familiar faces that have been there since day one. So that's awesome when you're able to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a wild ride. I mean, we just value those relationships so much too, that we didn't know much better when we were starting. And so we see that there's potential in people that maybe others wouldn't. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the other thing I wanted to talk about is transparency. It's a big thing for me, you know, any organization that I've worked at. And I feel like a company with a solid mission and North Star, you know, they should really share that internally, externally, and it's a beacon for others. And I love how transparent you guys are and have been along the way. I see like you have your annual reports on your website and you tell your story through video and all these different things. Has that been a part of your strategy, or is that just wired in you guys?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, for a couple of reasons. I mentioned the fact that we're a nonprofit organization, and one of the things we really value just in that incorporation status is like we publish, you know, our finances year by year and how we're doing. We put it out there, and one of the main reasons for that was like we wanted our customer to know and understand why we existed as well. Like we didn't want to just say it. We wanted to prove to them that 100% of why we're here and why this brand is in existence is for the betterment of the people that we work with. And so that it just puts a lot, when you speak to that transparency, it puts a lot of focus and trust into our brand, that like person, even down to the level of purchasing a hat, that they can know that that's making a difference, that it matters. And so we love that. We kind of, you know, value the opportunity to bring people into our story in different ways. And that's just another way that we can do that.
And speaking of bringing other people into your story, you guys have a pretty interesting internship program. You have an army of interns. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about that program.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's great. So we have internships that happen here in the U.S. They're 3 to 4 months long, and then we have them in Uganda and Peru as well. They cover a wide array of competencies. Really, we need a lot of help, and our interns do a lot of really valuable things for the organization. It's not just filing paper, stuffing envelopes, or whatever. Like in every field, whether it's the arts and photography or graphic design or sales or marketing or inventory management or customer service, there's a wide array of things that we have interns come in here for. I will note that we have a house in a block off of Newport Beach that our interns live in here in the U.S.
Are you kidding?
Which is pretty insane. And like we've had interns come out that have never been or seen the Pacific Ocean, and like are stepping into it for the first time. So it's pretty fun to like relive some of those things through new eyes. And they're an immense help too, which is awesome.
That's amazing. I want to be your intern.
Come on down.
What's that selection process like? It must be pretty tough.
Yeah, it depends on the season. I definitely wouldn't like anyone should apply. Like I feel like some people don't apply because they're like, oh, there's probably millions of applicants. Like there's definitely a good amount, and the application process is pretty involved. It's it's written responses, it's videos that you record. It's doing a project for certain positions and stuff. But for the most part, like, we just want good people here who work hard and have a heart for what we do. So yeah, it's all on the website. So people can find out more there too.
Cool. I'll go submit my application now.
Perfect.
With everything going on, this is a big one for me and a lot of the folks that I've talked to, but how do you maintain balance? What do you do for fun when you're not working, and how do you make time for that?
Yeah, gosh, that's a great question, Molly. Balance is so important, like more important than I feel like is ever really talked about, especially in the entrepreneurial and like startup setting. It's like all that's talked about is like, oh, people use words like, oh, you need to crush it and you need to grow really fast and, no sleep. And that's all great. And there's place for that. But balance needs to be a part of the conversation because you will drive yourself crazy. And so, yeah, it's super important for all of us here. It's definitely a company value of ours. And part of it for us is just the fact of like where we're located. Like our office is pretty close to the beach, and a lot of people, myself included, are able to like surf before work, which is really nice. I'm lucky enough to have a beautiful and amazing wife who helps like me not work all the time.
Nice.
And she's a great distraction from work and focus on things that matter. So it's about building in those rhythms, I guess, is all I could say, and finding what those things are for you that give you life and make sure that you're doing those as well.
Cool. Yeah, it's sad, but I'm just starting to realize that myself now. I've been out on my own for about a year and maybe some change, and I actually schedule playtime. If I don't put it on the calendar, I just keep working because I feel lucky. I love what I'm doing. I love the people I'm working with. So it's kind of squishy between work and play. So I have to actually remind myself, sleep, eat, play.
Oh, absolutely. And there's no shame in that. Like your iCal can be your best friend.
Oh, yeah.
And like best accountability partner. Cause if you want to make that a priority, like it needs time on there, and you need to stop the other things that you're doing.
For sure. So before I let you go, do you have any advice for budding entrepreneurs or companies who are perhaps looking for some kind of direction?
Honestly, that's another great question. I would say start. Like I think too many people look at all of like the challenges or think that they need to go from 0 to 60 in a matter of like weeks or months or whatever. And really, like, if you have a heart or a passion for something, start small. Don't be afraid of like the really humble beginnings. Like we started crocheting ourselves, and even when we went to Uganda, we started with 10 ladies. We didn't like try and change the entire world right at once. It was like started with what was manageable, learn, get better, grow a little bit, grow steady, grow slow, grow healthily. So that's what I would say.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Kohl, so much for joining me today. I hope I get to see you soon, maybe at SIA.
Perhaps. Yeah, we'll definitely be out there. I don't know if I'm going to be, but definitely stop by the booth.
Cool. Well, thanks again. I'm Molly Hawkins. Thank you for listening, you guys. Visit outliersproject.com for more on Kohl, Crochet Kids International, and their movement. I know you'll be inspired, but you have so much to learn about these guys. And if you need to pick up one of their beanies or some of the cool products they've got, check out their website for their retailer list. Thank you, guys. I'm out.